I'm FDRawr. I stream myself and my friends losing at video games over on Twitch about 5 nights a week, as well as making silly little YouTube videos whenever I have something rattling around in my noggin. So what's on my mind today? Well, this one has been itching around in that thick skull of mine for a while now, and it's about our favorite YouTubers. Twitch streamers, and content creators. Have you noticed how hostile they can be to the concept of skill-based matchmaking? Many content creators seem to have a vested interest in not dealing with skill-based matchmaking, and the more I consumed this kind of content, the less sense the arguments made. But before we dive in there, let me extract some value from trying to make this video by asking you to go follow me on Twitch or to subscribe here on YouTube to get involved in all my antics, and to be sure to like and comment on these videos so that they go places.
Let's get on with it.
What is skill-based matchmaking anyway? Well, odds are your favorite content creator has already painted you an image of it, swearing up and down that it will fill your lobbies with sweat lords and lock you into an inescapable bracket of skill, decimating your chances of ever playing a casual match of your favorite game again. But what is it actually? The reason I have trouble buying into the ideas of skill-based matchmaking being the end of an era is because as a concept, it's pretty simple. When you queue up for an online game, the game tries to match you with other players based on something or other. Usually whatever the developer of the game has determined a win condition. So if you've ever played your first match of a game like Call of Duty or Apex Legends, and you were able to get a hang on the controls before being completely destroyed, you have skill-based matchmaking to thank for that. But the simple definition doesn't actually describe what we're observing here, especially when we're talking about the asymmetrical horror-themed cat and mouse game developed by Behavior Interactive, Dead by Daylight. DBD has always had some form of skill-based matchmaking at play in the background, though with shifting win conditions. In the old days, it was a pip system for your rank, which paired you to other players of a similar rank level. On the Survivor side, a well-rounded match, Survive or Die, would pip you up as a good player, while even escaping the killer's grasp might not be enough if you weren't involved enough in getting there. For killers, your determining factor was usually hook states and kills on Survivor. The system was, at any rate, transparent. We could view the rank of our opponents in the post-game lobby and were able to report any discrepancies to behavior via the report option, or at the very least, keep track of who we were paired with for our own records and research. Nowadays, behavior went a different route. Invisible MMR, or matchmaking rating. The unfortunate truth of the system is that it's infinitely less transparent, which makes it difficult to gauge one's own position in the rank structure. The conditions for ranking up and down also seem to have been simplified to survival for survivor and kills for killer. To put it simply, if you're playing the killer role and you're regularly killing all of the survivors in your games, you will be ranked up to play against survivors who are not dying in their games. And that's how you rank up in this system.
Why do content creators hate skill-based matchmaking?
This is where things get muddy, and this is where personal opinions come into the mix. Due to its invisible nature, a lot more speculation gets involved when discussing skill-based matchmaking in Dead by Daylight. Some folks' imaginations get carried away and create scenes more horrifying than that which the entity could bring about. What if I want to play a casual match and my MMR is just so high that all I'd face is nurses and blights? This mode of thinking really bothers me. For one, I think it's really arrogant to assume that even when playing casually, nobody could possibly be at a similar MMR to you except those using the absolute strongest tools in the whole game. Blight and Nurse are leveled as a threat against the embracing of skill-based matchmaking because for years they've been ranked the top 2 killers in Dead by Daylight. And for good reason. Their kits are some of the most oppressive offered in the game. When played with intent, these characters can be virtually unstoppable, or at the very least will require a non-casual amount of attention be paid to defeat them. Do I think skill-based matchmaking will cause certain players to only go against these 2 killers all day? I wish I could definitively say no, but I just can't prove that. What I can say is that if someone's casual gameplay is so advanced that it still lands them in lobbies solely populated by the most oppressive characters in the game, they're probably either not actually playing casually and are kind of fronting about that, or these people are so advanced in skill that the only people who could possibly keep up with them even when playing casually are the best of the best using only the best of the best. I don't particularly care if either of those options is true. That's a person I don't want in my casual lobby. Playing casually, at least from my perspective, involves a lot of dying, a lot of losing at the game, because I'm laughing and having a good time with my friends or doing some funny challenges. If you're upset that you're getting beat, you're not playing casually. And I'm sorry to be the one to break that to you. And if you're playing so amazingly well that the only people who could possibly attain an MMR around you are all playing Blight and Nurse, you don't belong in a casual player's matches, even when you're playing casually yourself. I've grappled with this point for a while because it literally never made sense to me at face value. Could you imagine a martial arts instructor pairing their students with no regard for their relative skill to one another? The only purpose in that would be for the sake of watching a stomping. Imagine new players going against someone like Ots Darva or the King and not just losing, but having no idea how or why they lost. This brings me to our next point.
After this nice little ad break from today's sponsored,
when a concept so simple seems to be so misrepresented, it should at least raise a few eyebrows as to the motivation behind the way it's being presented. Why on earth would content creators favor a system that allows them to crush new players constantly without the potential consequence of getting paired with more skilled players?
After this nice little ad break from today's sponsored,
why would the developers of the game seem to favor a skill-based approach, whereas people who make money off of you watching them playing the game seem to think that it's gonna bring the end nigh?
After this nice little ad break from today's sponsored.
Okay, that's a pretty cynical take, and I want to clarify. I do not believe that big content creators are misrepresenting the essence of skill-based matchmaking en masse just for the sake of money. These people are passionate and amazing players who I believe truly care about the game and the people who play it.
However,
when such a glaring inconsistency exists in the logic behind these folks' distaste for matchmaking, it's hard to completely ignore the financial incentive. I'll be honest, as a content creator myself, I rarely, if ever, purposefully include footage of me getting completely stomped. And while I'm aware there's a lot of value in watching gameplay between two similarly seasoned players, getting 50 wins in a row as a clown or chain blinding killers who don't know how to avoid flashlights yet will always be a more engaging form of Dead by Daylight content. These content creators love the game and they love their audience, and their audience loves to see them win. Playing matches at your own level can be quiet, dull, attention-sucking. Whereas when you're paired with a noob still gripping with the controls of the game, one can be much more engaging and interactive with their audiences. But the promise that your gameplay is going to be negatively impacted by the implementation of skill-based matchmaking, or that somehow this concept is killing Dead by Daylight, is simply unfounded. It's speculation, and speculation that doesn't come from a game developer, but speculation from folks who are by definition incentivized to not want to play the game at their own level. You will likely see much less of these win streak challenges going around, and you will hear your favorite content creators solemnly mutter GG's at their own defeat more often. But as an individual player, you're more likely to see positive improvements in your own matches. It's important to note the motivations of the messenger. By that I mean, the person trying to tell you what something is usually has a reason for wanting you to believe that it is what they say it is. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing, but it is when the motivations are financial. We should be very wary of what we're being told, who's telling it to us, and why they might be telling us. As always, like and subscribe for more. Be sure to comment down below so this video gets the attention you think it deserves. Be sure to come over to Twitch and check me out live if that's what you're into. And I hope 2024 is your year.